Hello, it's me, Vicky Marie. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope you're happy, healthy, happy with your lot this morning. Now, I'm going to light a candle. I just want to tell people who are watching, if you don't like my waffle, I know some people like me waffling on and other people don't like me waffling on, just want me to get on with the video, but you know I like to waffle, especially on the live streams. I will be doing a bit of waffle this morning, so you might want to click out and go and make a cup of tea if you don't want to hear the waffle, because I'm going to tell you about my morning. I've had, oh gosh, it's only 11:30. I feel like it's been an eventful morning already. But anyway, so I've lit this candle, obviously for Micah, who I'm going to talk about in the video today. This is also, I'm lighting for Anna Kovich, because I'm going to talk about Anna Kovich a little bit at the end of the video as well. And of course, it's for Sebastian, for Samantha Murphy, for all the cases we're doing. It's also for any of us who are lost and need a candle lighting for us, because we're maybe, things aren't quite going right. Many reasons. That might be health-wise, might be financial-wise, it might be relationship-wise, it just might be general feeling, so, but also I've got something else to light this candle for this morning. A little bird that met its maker in my kitchen today, unfortunately. I'm going to tell you the story of what happened there. I was absolutely traumatized. I feel like I let this little bird down. But anyway, so let me tell you the story of that. So, I've got up this morning, or just say hello to anybody who's here. So, hi, Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Michelle J. Hi, Lynn GMB. Hi, David. Yeah, some people do like me waffling, other people don't, I know, but then they can always go and watch somebody else's videos, can't they? But if they don't, they can always fast forward a bit. They need to fast forward maybe about 15 minutes. It'll probably take me to tell this story. So I don't know, and a lot of you hear the birds on my videos. There's a lot of birds around my house, loads, and they're quiet at the moment. But first thing in the morning, maybe it's a bit late for them now, they really, really make a lot of noise. A lot of you hear them on the videos, don't you? And at the back of my house is like a terraced house, really, because it's a town, what they call a townhouse. It's tall, but it's between two other houses, and there's no garden or anything like that. But out the back, sort of off the kitchen, there's like a little space where you can put your washing machine and things like that, hang your washing out, but it's open, it's not covered over. And then of course all the birds seem to nest up on the rooftop. So always this time of year, it was a nightmare when I had cats, because obviously the cats would literally be sat there waiting for the little birds to drop down. But sometimes the little fledgling birds, they must having a go at flying, end up dropping down into this sort of they come down, they can't quite fly. When they fall down, then they can't fly back up because it's quite high, it's 2 or 3 floors going back up. So it's it happens quite a lot. Anyway, so this morning I was getting ready because I was going to go and do a bit of retail therapy this morning. Well, going to the supermarket, and then I thought, I'm going to go and have a little look at the shops. I like to go early. I like to be there as soon as they open, because I don't like people, as you know. Not that I don't like people. I love all you chatters and that, but I don't like being in places with a lot of people. And of course, Saturday is a mad day, isn't it? So I like to get there, get in, get out, and be home by 11. Next minute, Riley. Now, of course, you all know Riley, and a lot of you love Riley, and he is a lovely little dog. But he's a hunting dog. He's a Podenco. They're bred to hunt. It's why I can never let him off the lead if we're at the camp. If there's any rabbits about, you just can't get him back, because he gets the scent of the rabbits, and that's it. He's off, and he doesn't kill them. I think that, I mean, I've not trained him to do this, but he picks them up and brings them to you. But of course, he's only ever caught one. The whole time I've had him, he's only ever caught one. That was a little baby rabbit. It wasn't very well. And it died. I sat with it until, that was another trauma. I can't cope with these animals, even wild animals and that. Anyway, so these birds drop down quite regularly. Now, loads of times I've kept them and tried to, feed them and tried to until they're big enough to release out into the, that they can fly. Sometimes they've lived for about a week and then they've just died overnight or whatever. We've ended up giving them a name and everything. It's so traumatic. Anyway, so what I always do now is I just get hold of them and I take them back out to the campo, and I think maybe their mums will be able to go and feed them. I put them in the bushes and hope for the best, because there's not really much else you can do. Anyway, so I was sat here on the computer and I saw Riley was at the back door. It's like a glass back door, and he was at the back door and crying, and that's unusual for him. So, and then Rocky went as well. So the two of them are there at the door, scraping on the door, crying. And I looked out. I opened the door. I couldn't see anything, so I opened the door. They ran out. There's this little bird then hiding, behind the bucket, and say, "Oh gosh!" So Riley just runs over, picks this bird up straight away, just gets it in his mouth straight away. So I'm screaming at him, "Let go of it! Let go of it! This poor little bird's gonna just die of fright." Anyway, Riley dropped the bird, and then I got the dogs in the bathroom, put the dogs in the bathroom, and then went back out to look for this little bird. And it's hiding by now under, I've got like a cover over the washing machine. It's hiding at I thought it was at the back of the washing machine. Anyway, so have you ever seen the film The Green Mile? With the little mouse in the prison. That's the film. It's a brilliant film. It's an excellent film from a Stephen King book, isn't it? With Tom Hanks, about the great big guy who's in the prison and gets the death sentence, but he's psychic. And there's a little mouse in that film. Don't know if you remember when Percy, who's like the baddie from that film, the bad prison guard trying to kill the mouse, and he goes in the stock room and the panic room or whatever it is, and there's loads of stuff in there, and he's looking for this mouse, and he gets all this stuff out of the prison officers do in general, get all this stuff out of the cupboard to look for this mouse, and can't find it. But then later it turns up, well, it was just like that. So the whole of this back, I've got washing machine, dishwasher, a broken dishwasher out there. It's full of crap like these places are. So I'm moving everything out of the way. It took me about half an hour to get everything out of the way. No sign of this bird. So the bird's disappeared. So then I turn round, and in my kitchen, I just saw this black shadow shoot across my kitchen floor. So I thought, oh my God, it's got in the kitchen somehow. How's it got in the kitchen? It must have been while I put the dogs in the bathroom, this little bird has jumped in behind me, like snuck into the kitchen behind me. So then I do the same with the kitchen. Then I get everything off the floor. There's loads of water there, stocked up. There's dog food. There's a radiator. There's this, that, and the other, chairs. Get them all out the way. Still can't find this bloody bird. So I thought, maybe it's flown away, or maybe I imagined seeing a black shadow run across the kitchen floor or whatever. Anyway, so I opened the door and let the dogs back out the bathroom. Riley just goes straight for the bottles of water. I don't know how the bird had hidden, and I hadn't seen it because I'd picked all these bottles up and put them back down again. I moved everything. Anyway, Riley shoots straight for the bottles of water, and he's scrabbling at the bottles of water. So I realised the bird must be still there. And then by the time I got to it, so I got the dogs back in the bathroom again, and then I could see the little bird in between these bottles of water, and it was dead, the poor thing. So I mean, like Riley would have been he wouldn't have meant to kill it, but he would have been scrabbling it, and or it has died of just, you know, heart attack with all this going on around it. Poor little thing. So that, oh God, I was absolutely heartbroken. Honest to God, I just couldn't believe that I couldn't save this little bird. I was heartbroken. I've given it a little funeral. And that's the end of that little bird. But thing is, there's so many of that. Won't be the last one. That won't be the last one this springtime. There'll be loads of them. They just fall. There must be so many birds around, and you know, because you've heard them all singing. But yeah, I think it may. Hi, Laurie. It may have died of shock, or it might have been Riley sort of scrabbling at it. Because probably would have been better off if he would have put it in his mouth, because he doesn't bite down. It must be in Riley's genes as a hunting dog, you know, to just pick up these things. And because when he caught that rabbit, that one rabbit that he's ever caught, he brought it to me. He brought it out and brought it to me and just dropped it at my feet, and it was still alive. So I don't think he's trying to kill, but I think because he couldn't get at the bird, he was scrabbling in with its paws, and I think that's what's done it. It's probably terrified, poor thing. Anyway, so that was one thing that happened this morning. I thought, oh my God, is that an omen for the day? You know, like you do. It's like, and that sort of thing really, really upsets me. I can't cope. I know, you know, nature's nature, and animals die all the time, don't they? Especially little birds and things. But it really upsets me, and I felt like I'd really let that bird down. If I would have got it if I would have managed to get hold of it, first of all, I should have, you know, dealt with it better. Anyway, there's nothing I can do now. The little bird is dead. So Riley's, well, he's not now. He's asleep on the sofa, but he was looking for it for another half an hour. He was like, where's that bird gone? Where's that bird gone? There was a bird here a minute ago. So Riley is a really good hunter. God, if you can see why those Podencos are used by hunters. Unfortunately, they're treated terribly here in Spain by the hunters. They're just used as tools, really, farming tools. You know, they use them to hunt, and then quite often then they kill them, because the next season they get another load of them. You know, they don't value their lives. They don't keep them as pets. It's a big tragedy here in Spain among the hunters. I don't want anyone thinking that Spanish people don't love animals, because believe me, Spanish people love their pets. But you know what farmers are like? Animals, they're not pets, are they? They're commodities. And unfortunately, the hunters are notorious for that. And, you know, there's a lot of Podenco sanctuaries in Spain, and they get sent all over the world, because they can be quite a difficult dog to keep as a pet. They're not the most intelligent dog, apart from hunting. They're intelligent with hunting, but you know, like Riley's not as clever as the other dogs that are in this house, let's say. But if you needed something sniffing out, it'd make a brilliant sniffer dog. I mean, really, really. So that was the first thing that happened. So then off I went to the supermarket, and without incident. Well, I say without incident, you know, whenever I go out, I remember why I don't like going out, because there's pedestrians walking in the middle of the road. There's people parking their cars on roundabouts. There's people going the wrong way up a one-way street. It's just one twonk after another out there, isn't it? You know, it's just literally one twonk after another. So anyway, I got in the supermarket. Supermarkets are full of twonks as well, aren't they? Is it just me? I think I've got no patience. Got so much patience with some things, but I have no patience with twonks in supermarkets. Anyway, I went to the supermarket, and then I went to the shopping centre. There's a bit of I thought I'd cheer myself up and buy myself something nice. And I did get a result in there, because I went in our local Droonie. I don't know if you have Droonie in your countries. The people are watching, I think, from I think you're watching from all over, aren't we? We've got people watching from Scotland, Australia, I don't know, and someone from New Zealand, I think. So, yeah, do you have Druni? Druni is like a chain of shops, a little bit like, it's like Boots, but they don't do pharmaceuticals and that. You know, it's only makeup, perfume, you know, body cream. It's all those kind of things. And it's called Druni. I don't know if you have them in your country. I don't know if it's an international chain or if it's just the Spanish chain. But I thought I'm going to look for a perfume because I've got hardly any perfume left, because I always put perfume on before I do a live. I've told you that before, haven't I? Even though, of course, it doesn't matter at all if I put perfume on or not. You can't smell it through the screen, but I always do. It's just a habit that I've got into. And I was thinking, oh, I need some new perfume, so I'm going to go in Druni. And my favourite perfume is Obsession. But they stopped selling it in Druni. You can sometimes get it on the internet or great big department stores, or sometimes on Ryanair flights they come round with Obsession. But of course it's out of date now, you know, it's like an old perfume. And I remember to this day the very first bottle that I bought. I saw the advert, the Calvin Klein advert. I went to Boots, I had a spray of it, walked around the store, and this smell, I just thought, oh my God, you know, some perfumes just react. Sometimes I put perfumes on, can't even smell it. I don't even notice I've got perfume on. Whereas it might be a perfume that I've smelt on somebody else that smelt really nice on them. It must work with your chemicals. I don't know what it is. But then when I buy that perfume that smelt really nice on someone else, it doesn't smell the same on me. But Obsession is, you know, I remember it. Anyway, so I went and bought a bottle, and ever since then, that's been my favourite perfume. And then over the last 10 years or whatever, I noticed they've stopped, you know, it's an old perfume. And it reminded me of my mum saying to me when I was young, oh, they've stopped making Youth Dew, I think it was called, Estee Lauder Youth Dew. That was her favourite perfume. Oh, they've stopped making it. And she was gutted, you know, and I was just like, oh, well, you know, just buy another one. It's old-fashioned anyway, you know, like you are when you're young. And now it's me whinging because they don't do Obsession anymore. But anyway, I went in Druni and look what they had. I don't know if you oh no, that side. Obsession. They had a bottle of it. And better than that, it's only €38, which all of you will know is cheap, because perfume is not cheap, is it? Perfume is really, really expensive. So that Obsession used to cost about €90. Now it's only €38 because it's only old birds like me that like to wear it. But I am just over the moon. I am so happy. I've got my Obsession. I'm wearing some. If you could smell me, I smell fantastic. I just love it. So there you go. So my day got better then. It got better. I had something nice to eat, and then I felt even better again. And then I thought, right, I'm going to come and do a live because I'm going out later for a meal, a Chinese. And as always, you know, don't do anything too exciting. But I'm looking forward to it because at least once a week I do like to have a meal put in front of me, you know, because I don't normally get anyone cooking for me. So that's my morning, and it's 10 to 12. It's taken me 20 minutes to tell you about that, but I thought, oh my God. So it's been mixed bag this morning. Trauma of losing that little bird, but then the good news was finding Obsession in the shop, and of course I cheered myself up by buying a load of new nail varnishes. Honestly, I am easily pleased. It's either lipstick or nail varnishes I end up buying, or necklaces. I didn't buy any necklaces today, but I thought about it. But I thought, oh, don't go mad, you know, because I'd bought the perfume. So that was my morning. How was your morning? I hope you had a good morning. Oh, Michelle, how can you not like Obsession? How can you not like it? Oh my God. So I've tried so many other perfumes, honestly, but I always end up, well, if I get a chance to go back to this one. Okay, so yeah, Kelly, I hope it's at peace, that little bird. Just it never had any of a life, did it? It didn't have any life. Wasn't a tiny little baby bird. You know, it wasn't that far from it. Would have been able to fly up itself. I just thought, oh, I never even got. I know, like, birds don't have long lives, I would imagine, out in the wild and that, but never really got. And then I was thinking about its mum. Was its mum worrying about it? Because they do, the birds. I had a bird come in my garage, you know, where I do the classes downstairs in the basement. A bird came in there one day, and all the other birds were going mad, like that, like, you know, a little bird, it flew in. And that one, luckily, I did manage to just sort of shoo out again. But the other birds were all going mad, you know, so they do know when one of their flock is, you know, gone or missing. So it's very sad. Anyway. So let's talk about John Paul Miller. Let's talk about Pastor John Paul. You know, what a twonk, you know, the twonkiness in this case. Micah Miller, of course, she's the lovely soul, 30-year-old woman, just came to the end of the road, just couldn't carry on any longer and took herself out of this world. And we've seen that she was groomed from when she was 14 years old by this man who's supposed to be a man of God. Let's just have a little look at her. I'm sure you all remember what she looks like, but just in case anyone's watching who hasn't seen her. So this is Micah, 30 years old when she passed. At 14, she was groomed by her pastor, who was a guy that she was babysitting for him and his wife and his 5 children. This one with the lovely flowery shirt on. So Micah, so talking of that bird not having much of a life, I just feel that Micah didn't have much of a life, because from 14 she was groomed and then became his Stepford wife, you know, the first lady, the first pastor's lady, as he described her. And she was almost like a slave to him, I think. And then by 30, so around about the age of 28, about 3 years ago, she started kicking up, you know, a fuss to him, like fighting back, becoming independent. She's coming up to 30 years old. She's not in his thrall anymore. He was having affairs. He was treating her terribly. He was abusing her. And she started to, you know, kick back, I think. So, and then, oh, well, you know, he's a typical narcissist. So it's like, you know, where did that expression ever come from? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. To me, in my experience, it's the other way around. Hell hath no fury like a man or like a narcissist scorned. You know, this man, men are, you know, they're always, you know, if you look back to the film Fatal Attraction, and now there's all this fuss about baby reindeer and Martha the stalker, and it makes me a bit angry, because I know women stalk, they do stalk, but it's rare that their stalking turns to actual murder. But with women, men, and, you know, men doing it to women, it happens every day, all over the world, in Britain, you know, I follow on Twitter that Counting Dead Women, and it's ex-partners, ex-husbands. It's just time after time again. And then they make a big fuss of baby reindeer. That guy, to me, maybe we'll look at that one day. I don't even think he was stalked. You know, he encouraged it. He was loving the attention. That's not what it's like when you're really being stalked. You are categorically, you know, saying to someone you don't want that attention. I think he was very misleading. And now he's done this Netflix show and made a fortune. And now everyone's angry with her because she wants to make some money out of it. I wonder if she received any of those royalties. You know, anyway. that's my opinion about Baby Reindeer. It was a good show. I mean, I watched it and it was interesting, but I did feel for her. And she, you know, I think like women stalkers, you know, they're much more rare. Maybe that's why they get more attention. But, you know, those women being murdered every day by their ex-partners or partners. And, you know, I don't know. I didn't really like the sentiment behind it all and the way they're making her out to be. He's the one who's made money out of it. Anyway, so, gosh, going back. So Micah was being stalked. So this apparently started 2 years ago. So what we're going to look at in this video is we're going to look at her parents talking. But first of all, because of course the other thing he did, which is what men always do, or what people who are stalkers always do, is turn it round on the person they're stalking, say that they are mentally ill. So he's been saying to all his congregation that she is mentally ill. And then this video now has come out of him having a complete and absolute losing the plot, having some sort of panic attack, which, don't get me wrong, mental health has to be taken seriously. And if he had a panic attack, but I just looking at this video, I'm not sure exactly, you'll tell me what you think. I'm not sure exactly when it was made, you know, when it happened. But I would say, I bet any money is probably around the time that he started losing control of everything. Started losing control of Micah, you know, started thinking that, oh, hang on, you know, he's had this girl, this young girl in his thrall for all this time, and he's been able to go off and have affairs and do whatever he wanted. And then I bet this happened at a time when suddenly he started to lose control of Micah. But let me know what you think anyway. So let's have a look at this video. You may have seen it already. So it was on JLR, but it's a Facebook video. The guy who took the video has uploaded it. So credit to JLR for that's where I took this video from, but it is freely available on Facebook and other channels. You know, I thought this guy was a knob before, but now complete and absolute knob.
You all right, man? You okay? Huh? You okay? What's the matter? Huh? What's the matter? Somebody help?
I mean, what sort of voice is that? You know, I'm sorry. What? So this idiot. So he's lying on the floor. Now, I know when people have panic attacks. I've had panic attacks when I was younger. I don't now, but I've had them terrible. Lots of people in my family have them even now. And there's nothing worse than a panic attack. Because you feel like, you know, you're going to faint, but you don't, you know, you feel like you're going to die and everything's like in slow motion around you. So he's having some sort of a meltdown, obviously. But the whininess of his voice, for God's sake, it just sounds so false.
Oh, okay. Okay. But you got Mark coming? Somebody called him.
So the guy who's taking the video, I'm not sure why he's taking the video, to be honest, unless it could be completely staged. He could have told him to take the video. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I won't put anything past this twonk. Yeah, maybe he said to him, oh, can you take this video, you know, just in case I need to show later on that I'm mentally unstable. Why is the guy even taking the video?
Okay. So, is your medication something they gave you? Yeah.
You know, 'cause I'm just thinking if my friend was having a meltdown like that, I wouldn't video them. Why would you video them? I don't understand why he's videoing him.
You want me to make sure Mark's coming? But somebody's called him, right? Okay. All right. Hey, JP. I think Mark is coming.
Oh, sorry.
I have him try to get in touch with him again to make sure. Is that okay? Huh? He was letting his ants on you? There's no ants on you, though. It's just, maybe that's how you feel, but there's none on you. There's none on the grass. What kind of medicine do they have you on? All right.
No, it reminds me of, if you're all true crime fans, I know, because otherwise you won't be following my channel. But did you ever see about the weepy voice killer? There was a weepy voice killer. I don't know if I did a video on it on one of the serial killer Sundays. I might have done. But there was a guy who he would kill a woman and then he would phone up and phone the police to tell them where the body is. I've done it again. Stop me before I do it again. I just can't stop myself. Have you ever seen that? And this is what this sounds like to me. Exactly what it sounds like. He's an absolute sociopath, this guy.
Well, somebody's going to come, okay? Do I need to call 911? Do I need to call the medics? Yeah, we got somebody coming. You want some water or anything? You want some water? Yeah, he said okay if you got a little bottle of water.
I mean, you can't really hear what he's saying, but, do you think he's high on something or whatever? What has brought that on? What has brought this on? I honestly think this video may well have been taken at a time where he felt he was losing control of everything. I don't know.
I don't know. I think medication or something, he said. And he feels like ants is crawling on him and stuff. So I got somebody coming. Okay. Yeah. Right across the street. Back over here. Oh, okay. So.
Yeah, he said ants are crawling all over him. I mean, do you think he's taking some mushrooms or something? Do you think he's hallucinating? Or it's very odd, isn't it? It's a very, very odd. So this is who Micah was married to. And not only that, this is who Micah was trying to escape from. Could you imagine what a nightmare he will have been stalking her?
Well, let me know if I can do anything. Okay, I think he's. Here's some water, JP. You want some water? Okay, you want to try to sit up? You want to try to sit up, or you want to put it to your mouth, or what? I'll be out in a few minutes if you need anything else. Okay.
So they knew who he was, because when the video starts, the guy takes the video from the minute I still think it's odd why somebody would take a video. So the guy who's filming this, he gets out of his car, sees John lying on the grass and says, "Hey JP, are you okay?" So he knew it was him. He knows him. And then but he was filming it all the time. So as I say, if that was my friend having a breakdown, having some sort of meltdown, I wouldn't video it, would you?
Better enough. You want more?
Oh, did you hear what he said then? I'm sure he just said then, "I just want to see my kids. I just want to see my kids." Now, I don't know about the situation, because of course he's been married before. He left his first wife, who he had 5 kids with, for Micah, who was their babysitter when she was 14 years old. So is this some act he's putting on because he's been told he can't see the kids or whatever? Because he just went, "Oh, I just want to see my kids." So it makes you wonder. This is definitely an act being put on for something. And it makes you wonder, is this something, is he trying to show how distressed he is that he can't see his kids?
If Mark can't make it quick, you want me to get your mom over here?
Yeah, do you want me to get your mom? God, come on. I don't know who Mark is, because he keeps saying, "Oh, Mark's coming, but I don't know who Mark is. So he just said, I'm sure he just said then, "I don't want my medication, I just want to die." And don't forget, Micah's the one who's supposed to be mentally ill, not him. But it looks like he's either mentally ill or he's pretending to be because he'd be pretending to be mentally ill when it suits him. And this is what Micah had to put up with.
I feel like I hit some eyes.
Yeah, so there you go. Exactly. He's hi Charlie, hi Bridget. He's either a narcissist who's realized everything's not as much under his control as he thought it was, so he's having a complete meltdown. I just want to show you. This is who it reminded me of. So this is the weepy voice killer, this Paul Michael Stefani. Don't talk, just listen. So who does this remind you of?
Don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry what I did to Compton. I couldn't help it. Don't know why I had to stab her. I am so upset about it. I keep getting drunk every day, and I can't believe I just like a big dream. I can't think of being locked up. If I get locked up, I'll kill myself. I'd rather kill myself than get locked up. I'll try not to kill anybody else.
Yeah.
Fire emergency.
Please don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry I killed that girl. I stabbed her 40 times. Kimberly Compton was the first one. Oh, my safe. I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm sick. I'm going to kill myself. I'm sick.
Where are you?
That is exactly it, isn't it? And he's a psychopath, a serial killer who was eventually arrested. So that's who he reminds me of. It's exactly the same. It is exactly the same. You know, exactly the same. And yeah, DMV threw himself on the nice comfy grass instead of on the pavement. So I know what I think of that. Anyway, I want to show you as well. So Micah's family have been talking on News Nation. And I want to show you that, what they think of him. Let's see. Let's see what they think of him.
Family, in dealing with what you are coping with. I cannot imagine being in your shoes. Michael, if I may begin with you, you feel that the investigation.
So sorry. So on the left is Michael, who is Micah's father, and on the right is Micah's sister.
Has been less than complete, to say the least, on Micah's death. What do you believe happened? What is your theory of how Micah died?
My theory of how Micah died. Well, I know she was pushed to the brink. I know that there is no reason for her to be out there in that area. We've never been there. She's never been there. I mean, my theory is broad right now. There's bruises on her hand. There's injury to her other arm, like a handprint. And these things were not documented, and they did not show up for no reason. And we were not satisfied with the answers that we were given in the entirety. It didn't seem like enough was done. And we just want more answers. We want more checking into this.
And Destiny, the investigators still have not released Micah's personal possessions, like her cell phone in particular, which is a pretty critical piece of evidence. Tell me why it is so important for the family to get those things back.
Micah had been gathering information to help with her divorce for quite a while, previous to her commitment to the hospital that was unwilling. She had all of her stuff on her phone at that time and her laptop. When she was committed against her will, John Paul had went to the hospital to pick up her items, deleted all of her information off of those items, and held them till they were past the date that we could recover anything. So it's very vital for us to get this cell phone that she currently had, because we do believe that there could be quite a bit of evidence on there.
Michael, one of the things that I think has stuck with a lot of people is that Micah met.
So he was trying to get in her apartment just after she died. He was trying to get her in her apartment. He's trying to get her possessions. I think they've got, they'll have had a real problem here because he is the next of kin. They're still married. So luckily, the owner of the apartment complex did not let him in the apartment. But it just makes you wonder, what have the police given him any possession of her possessions back? God, this poor family. Because the thing is, surely the police have got to give the possessions back to the family.
John Paul, when she was in the youth ministry in the church, when she was just 14,
right,
and he was a leader in the church, that did not escape a lot of people. Ultimately,
so she was 14 and he was a leader in the church. Oh my God, I tell you, this just puts people off church, these kind of things. Unfortunately, these wolves in sheep's clothing, these predators, church is an easy place for them to find victims, because the people that they find in churches are normally nice people, you know, God-fearing people, and they, for some unknown reason, you know, they don't seem to see through these people. How many times has it happened? You know, it's like, so he's there like the leader of the church, and then he starts an inappropriate relationship. Who knows when the actual sex started, but I think it's more or less commonly known that he started grooming her from when she was 14. And Micah had no life in my eyes. She had no life. She was just starting on her real life, on her proper life. And he drove her to remove himself. He must have opened the champagne that night when he heard that she was dead, because that's what he's been trying to do, really, is break her down.
They ended up married, but is there something that you and the family know or feel or believe about Micah's claim that she was being groomed from the time she was a child?
Absolutely. Yes, her demeanor changed over time, and she became more and more compressed, less and less of herself. And as soon as they got married, her behavior went downhill fast as far as being her lively, jovial self. And she seemed to be more sad, more under control, and didn't seem to be her free self. Didn't seem to be.
Well, no, she wasn't. We could see that in her videos, because she sort of transferred, you know, you could see that Micah, she's a sensitive soul, you know, too sensitive really for this world in a way. You know, she believed in God and Christ, and probably at one time that pastor, that idiot John Paul, to a 14-year-old impressionable girl, he would have seemed like, you know, almost the incarnate of Jesus or God or whatever, and she just went along with him, what he said, what, you know, he controlled her completely. And when she tried to break away, she probably struggled, because that's another thing, it's like that bloody Stockholm syndrome. You know, when somebody has got you under their thrall like that for so long, it's hard to be independent, because you don't even know how to think for yourself. He's told her what to think since she was 14 years old, told her what to do, told her what to think. And then suddenly that will have been quite scary for her to be out there trying to, because she didn't even have a life before. Like if she would have met him when she was 30 and she would have had relationships before, a life before, maybe she could go back to that, you know, go back to being self-reliant, if she'd ever been self-reliant before. The problem for Micah is she'd never been self-reliant. She'd never had a chance to be self-reliant. So she was floundering. She was floundering where to go next, how to be, what to do. And then all in the meanwhile, he's pecking at her, following her, you know, tracking her, slashing her tires, putting naked pictures of her up on social media. We're going to look at that in a minute.
Be able to accomplish things she wanted to without him causing them to end. She would do something amazing, and he would shut it down and would not repeat function. I just believe he really compressed her. I really believe that he just sucked the life right out of her.
Sucked the life.
Caused her to go downhill from the moment after they got married. The moment after.
Some people know how to suck the joy out of everything. All her lovely positive energy, he would have hated it, because he would have been jealous of her youth, jealous of the fact that she had a life in front of her. He just wanted to control everything about her, because he'd done that from when she was 14. He's a foul man. I mean, really, really. I don't think I could hate him more if he had actually pulled the trigger, you know, because to me, he may as well have pulled the trigger.
After he forced her to have a certain surgery, and she had a violent reaction from the anesthesia, and he took advantage of that.
But he forced her to have surgery. What do you think surgery? What cosmetic surgery? What?
What kind of surgery are you saying he forced her to have?
I would rather not say.
Okay, I understand. But I do want.
Gosh, forced her to have surgery, and he says he would rather not say what it was. I wonder if it was like a boob job or Wonder what surgery forced her to have. May even have been, to not have children, because it's strange that they never had any children. Well, he already had 5, but I would have thought Micah would have been, she strikes me as a person that would have quite liked children.
I want to pull on that thread a little. Do you believe that John Paul Miller had inappropriate sexual contact with Micah before she was legally allowed to be in that kind of a relationship? Do you think there could be charges in terms of the age difference between them?
Right. I'm unaware of anything that occurred when she was still a young teen, 14 or so. Destiny, do you have anything? I'm not sure.
As far as him reaching out to her and continuously texting her while she was a teen, he convinced her to get away from our family during her teens, told her that he would find different households for her to live in within the church to get her away from our family, as well as he helped her get a car and told her to find adults and tell them stories that they could trust, to get her away from our family. And that's how he initially isolated her during her teens.
Do you think, Destiny, that he was having a sexual relationship with her when she was underage?
That I can't lay any claim to. I'm not exactly sure to the extent of the relationship at that time, other than
everything he did was sort of classic coercive control, wasn't it? Isolating her from her family, buying her a car, grooming, getting her a car. He had money. He had to a 14-year-old girl. I mean, not someone who's a bit longer in the tooth and's got a bit more sense. He probably seemed like a very attractive prospect. And, of course, he was a man of God, and you can see that Micah takes her faith seriously. So what? It's like some Machiavellian sort of plot, and he's a man of God. That's what makes it all 100 times worse. Is that he's pretending to be whiter than white, but all the time he's not.
Getting her away from the family, getting her to talk to other people, and putting her in homes of other family members. But that is when I believe that the initial grooming did start.
And Destiny, just describe some of the changes that you saw in your sister after she married John Paul.
Micah was so full of life. She was funny and energetic, someone that just lit up every room that she walked into. And once they were together, especially for that first initial couple years, I mean, she just deteriorated. She was not herself. You could see that maybe she was you could see just the downfall in her personality as far as becoming sad or trying to put on a mask to not let people in of her own private, from what I'm finding out, on her own private hell.
Michael, is there a chance that you and your family will launch any kind of civil litigation against John Paul Miller, whether it's wrongful death or whether it's an encouragement for the police to launch criminal charges for anything they may discover in the evidence that we've been able to unearth, the stalking and the harassment, the physical evidence and the admissions and the emails, even to our producer, that he had done those things?
Absolutely. We're going to push for every law that can help and push for laws that don't even exist yet. We need a lot of support. We need people that can help write new laws if necessary, and staff this situation to springboard forward and protect Micah and also protect anybody else in the future. And we'll definitely pursue that. Wrongful, everything. He has caused terrible pain and tragedy throughout this.
Michael, what was the last conversation you had with your daughter, Micah?
It was about, it was the day before, gosh. It was basically about how things were going. I was talking with her about music, and we wanted to do some recording, and she just absolutely had no signs of anything drastic in her life that would be that bad. She did mention that she was feeling some depression, and she was didn't understand. She didn't understand why this pressure was coming back. because she was feeling better and better the longer she was away from John Paul. And I believe it's due to the stalking and the, slashing her tires and causing her just pressure, as she felt like she had to look over her shoulder all the time. So she felt like she needed a weapon to protect herself. So, this is not normal. She was not in a situation where we would think, oh, we need to be watching her, or, I left, she was doing fine. She had a job, she was moving forward. And then suddenly, here we go. Here we are.
Michael Francis and Destiny Barrientos, thank you so much for being on the program and sharing this information. And please keep us apprised of anything that happens in the coming days and weeks. I really.
Yeah, well, News Nation will keep on top of that, that's for sure, because once they get a story, they sort of really, cling to it, don't they? Let me put that window down, because I've got another video I just want to show you. Yeah, where apparently he admitted in an apology letter that he posted a topless photo of her online. Now, you could imagine that, well, that wouldn't be nice for anybody, but I think especially somebody like Micah, you could say, she's not a flamboyant person, is she? Like where, she's not an OnlyFans model who wouldn't give a shit if she had a topless photo posted of her online. Imagine her, she would have been very upset that all the congregation had seen it. I mean, he was just like shaming her. He's horrible man. So I haven't got words actually for how horrible he is. Let's have a look at this.
About this device being jabbed into her tires to let the air out. It talks about a man showing up at a gas station, then following her to a car dealership, and that man's name was redacted all the way through. Last night, we learned the man's name was actually John Paul Miller, the estranged husband, the man who everybody had pointed to as the cause of all of this prior to finding out it was a suicide. But now we actually have an email from him when he's admitting to some of this behavior. What have you found out?
So we've come into a lot of information that has been sent to the police, and that's the key thing here, because people are wondering, okay, so what are police to do with all of these allegations? Do they even know? And now we know that her family has forwarded all of this information to the police. One of the things that is included in these documents is an apology email from him to Micah on April 15th of this year, which is about 12 days before she died. In it, he writes, "I'm sorry for damaging your car, tires, etc. If you ever come back, I will turn in both cars and get you a nice SUV or whatever car you want. Again, my horrible flesh pattern of hurting someone when they hurt me."
There you go. He's admitting it. That is a typical narcissist behavior. I mean, look, we all lash out when we're hurt. I think there are quite a lot of us. I've done it. I mean, not like I haven't ever slashed. I've had my tires slashed, but I've never gone and slashed anybody else's tires. I've not done things like that. But sometimes when you're hurt, you do lash out. I've lashed out. Normally with my mouth, if you like, saying nasty things to someone because they've hurt me or whatever. But here, so he's admitting damaging your car, tires, etc. If you ever come back, so he wanted her back, even though he had another woman. I hope his girlfriend has read this bloody woman that he's supposed to be seeing, whose own husband died mysteriously and, paraplegic, falling into a pool. I would just wonder if she's reading this, because I'll tell you what, if John Paul was my boyfriend and I read this email that he's begging his wife to come back to him, I'm sorry for damage. You'd be fuming, wouldn't you? What? You wanted your wife to come back to you. I thought, you love me. Don't you just say anything? He just wants everything. That's the problem with John Paul. He wanted the new girlfriend because there's probably some money, because she apparently did well out of the insurance policy for her husband dying. So there's the money side of it, and probably sex as well. So he wanted all that, but he wanted Micah. He didn't want Micah to go off with anybody else or have a life or anything. So I'll turn in both cars and get you a nice SUV. So he's still grooming her. Offering, this is what they do, they offer to help. And Micah was in a difficult financial position, wasn't she? So he was trying, she won't have known what to do. She won't have known which way to turn. I'll get you a nice SUV or whatever car you want. Oh, again, my horrible flesh pattern of hurting someone when they hurt me. Poor me, I can't help it.
So there you have it. He's kind of outing himself.
And I'll give you something shiny and new if you just come back to me. Boy, if I had a dime, Rich, for every time I've seen an abusive relationship like that.
Exactly.
So JP, actually, Mr. Miller, John Paul Miller, Pastor Miller, has been having conversations with you via, texting back and forth. And if I understand this correctly, he has also admitted directly to you that he's the person who put the tracker on the car.
That's right. That's right. So earlier this week, I believe it was Monday, I engaged with him and he started talking back with me, kind of unprovoked. And I also want to read this because this thing stood out to me when I read it at the time. I didn't really know it. He said, this is JP to me, I even hired a PI to put trackers on her car to know if she was going to a gun store because she kept trying to get a gun for the past few months. I have never once in my entire life ever hurt her in any way, ever. I was just communicating with him on text, drawing him out, and he kept texting and texting and texting. I've officially asked him for an interview. His attorney has, of course, said no, but that's where it stands.
That's pretty glaring, admitting to that. Okay, the next thing is that he apologized for something else. And this was something we were unsure of. There were allegations that Micah had been threatened, that a topless photo of her would be posted on the internet. And now he is admitting that it was him. He was the one making those threats.
Yes. So this goes back to this apology letter that we have. It's an apology letter from him to Micah, dated April 15th. In it, he's apologizing for a series of things. And one of them is a photo that was produced on the internet. It was topless of her. We're not going to show that here, of course, but in the apology, he says, I'm sorry for putting a picture of you on the internet. It was for less than 1 hour and immediately taken down. I was hurt that you were telling everyone horrible, intimate details of my past sin, and I just wanted to try and hurt you. Please forgive me. It was evil of me to do that.
Right, let me just go.
Sorry. So yeah, it's only up there for an hour. Like that doesn't have life elsewhere when people download naked photos.
Sorry, let me just go back to that.
So yeah, it's only up there for an hour. Like that doesn't have life elsewhere when people download naked photos.
Try and hurt you. Please forgive me. It was evil.
So I'm sorry for putting a picture of you on the internet. It was for less than 1 hour. Oh, well, that's okay. That's okay, John Paul. So whoever uploaded that video of you having a meltdown, as long as it was for less than 1 hour, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter that in that 1 hour everybody else has videoed it and shared it around, does it? Doesn't matter because you only left it up for less than 1 hour. God, it was for less than 1 hour and immediately taken down. Well, if it was for an hour, it wasn't immediately taken down, was it? I was hurt that you are telling everyone horrible, intimate details of my past sin, and I just wanted to try and hurt you. Well, at least he had the grace to admit that's what he was trying to do. Please forgive me. It was evil of me to do that. Even if he put it on for 5 minutes, it was wrong. Because that's time for people to take a copy of it. There'll be people there looking at his, I don't know, Facebook or wherever he posted it. And as soon as they saw it, they'll have screenshot it. And then now it'll be sick. Well, I'm surprised that picture hasn't popped up, to be honest. I certainly wouldn't share that picture, but I bet it is being circulated. Oh, God, he's horrible. He's like, that's that sextortion, isn't it? It's like, you know, when people split up, you know, using, just when you think he can't get any worse, he gets worse.
evil of me to do that.
And don't forget, he's a pastor as well. You know what I mean? This is a man of God.
Oh, so yeah, it's only up there for an hour. Like that doesn't have life elsewhere when people download naked photos and they live forever. And I'm sorry, but there's the but. Like that's again
Right.
just a classic pattern that you often see. So you have also seen text messages between John Paul Miller and Micah's family. What were in those text messages?
Some of the text messages I've seen were pictures of text chains where her family was communicating, and Micah was on there. But Micah, this was at a time where I believe she was in the hospital, and so the Micah jumps into the conversation and said something like, "Happy Valentine's Day to me," and I believe her mother or a relative says, "Micah, is that you?" And it was quickly figured out that this was not Micah. This was JP. That he had possession of the phone, and it was his interpretation, legal interpretation, that it was marital property. And so this is just one of a number of instances.
So he took over. He had her committed. He had her sectioned. Then he took her phone and sent herself a message. Happy Valentine's Day to me. This is reminding me of the Anna Kovich case. I've got some news on that after this. You know, he did that, didn't he? He'd murdered her. Well, John Paul has murdered Micah in my eyes, just as David Knezovich has murdered Anna. It's murder all the same, whether you pull the trigger or not in this case.
You know, he took over her Facebook page. Her brother took it back, and her sister took it back and said, "Hey, this account has been taken over. Do not post." There's a lot here. There's a lot here, actually.
Like, I mean, marital property, sure, but communicating as someone else is not marital property. You can't just grab a marital property telephone and then pretend to be like, there's a distortion if I've ever heard one. So Micah herself wrote something before she died, a document of sorts. Did you get your hands on it, and what's in it?
Yes. So this is a letter that she wrote 2 days after this apology letter, if I have this correct, and roughly 9 days before she died. It was a letter for the courts in part of her divorce court proceedings, and it's a hard thing to read. I'll just be completely honest. She lays out like the entire case of why she's leaving him and what has happened to her. I just want to read a snippet of it. I don't even know if we have it, but her opening sentence is, "Since the day we became husband and wife, I have been abused in every way I can think of, emotionally, sexually, spiritually, financially, and physically. He has harassed me physically and electronically with letters, phone calls, emails, texts, hacking my emails, hacking my personal Facebook, and impersonating me, using my stolen phone to send texts and emails out to church members." It goes on and on and on. "Installing tracking devices on my vehicle, on my godmother's vehicle. The trackers were found on March 11th, March 14th, March 24th, April 15th. All of these have been documented and reported to the police." That's the key here, actually, is that the police have all this information.
The police have all this. They have the letter, they have the incidents, they have police reports. Did they do anything about it?
I've reached out to all the police agencies today. I only heard back from...
I mean, what have you got to do? What have you got to do before the police start taking action? You know, listening to that and him saying, reading out that litany of things that Micah said he'd done to her, abused her from the day they got married, sexually, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you know, send emails pretending to be her to the congregation. This man is... It's just unspeakable. But before we go on to talking about Anna Knezovich, we're going to look one more time at him having that meltdown. I want as many people to see that as possible, see what a gilipollas he is. Gilipollas is a Spanish word for a W-A-N-K-E-R. I'm sure YouTube will pick up on it, whether I say whatever language I say it in. But, you know, I just want I honestly, please share that video, because I just want everybody to know, everyone in the world to know, because this Hilly Poyas, he's going to go off and try and start up a church somewhere else. If he's done there, you know, where he was in the Solid Rock Church, he's not going to, you know, he's going to go off to another state, maybe even another country, probably turn up here in Spain. We've got a couple of those Hilly Poyas here as well. You know, people who just appear out the ether and pretend they're this, that, and the other. He's going to turn up somewhere else. So I would like for everybody to see what sort of person he is, so nobody gets taken in by him again, wherever he goes.
From one of the agencies, there was the lead agency investigating her death in North Carolina. Keep in mind, she's from South Carolina. She died in North Carolina. They kind of passed the buck. They said, this is not related to her death. You need to contact the police agencies in South Carolina. I have, and I haven't heard back. So it'll be interesting to see what they do respond, because from what I can tell, from what I can gather from the conversations with her family, and you're about to speak to them directly, but they'd like to see some charges come from these past incidences. Like, there's questions about legally, you know, what lines were crossed here. And it seems to me
at least that
there may have been some.
I mean, just at least that an investigation has been going on, right? With all of these reports and all of this evidence. Rich McHugh, amazing digging on this. Just really terrific reporting. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for watching. Go to
Hi. Poor Micah. Poor Micah. Okay, now we're going to go on to talk about twonk number 2, David Knezovich. But first of all, we're just going to show, I just want to watch that video again for a sec.
You all right, man? You okay? Huh? You okay? What's the matter? Huh? What's the matter?
I just hope all this congregation sees this. I hope everybody sees this. This to me is completely staged. I still don't understand why this guy is actually videoing this.
Is somebody helping you? Oh, okay. Okay. But you got Mark coming? Somebody called him. Okay. So, is your medication something they gave you? Yeah. You want me to make sure Mark's coming? But somebody's called him, right? Okay. All right. Hey, JP. Good. I think Mark is coming. I had him try to get in touch with him again to make sure. Is that okay? Huh? He was letting his ants on you? There's no ants on you, though. It's just, maybe that's how you feel, but there's none on you. There's none on the grass.
He sounds to me, because he keeps saying about ants crawling all over him. I just wonder if he's been taking something. Has he been taking something?
What kind of medicine do they have you on? All right, well, somebody's going to come, okay?
Sorry, I can't help but laugh at it. He just looks so pathetic. I just honest to God, you know, what do women see in this man? You know, I'm not brilliant with men, believe me, I've made loads of mistakes, but I don't think, you know, he just is just pathetic. You know, it just, oh my God, awful, awful. And the other thing I wanted to say, I was just laughing at what DMV was saying to Chumba, that Chumba will have to go and hide behind a newspaper next time she meets someone. I've done that with, I went and met a guy once. My friends were sat at the bar, my friend and her boyfriend, sat up at the bar that we went in, and this poor guy that I'm chatting to, he didn't know he was being surveilled. And then when I decided he wasn't a mad axeman, then I said to him, oh, by the way, that's my friend and a boyfriend over there. And we called him over and we all had a drink together. He was quite nice, actually. He was Geordie from Benidorm. He was from Benidorm, Spanish. Anyway, but years ago.
Do I need to call 911? Do I need to call the medics? Yeah, we got somebody coming. You want some water or anything? You want some water? Yeah, he said okay if you got a little bottle of water. I don't know. I think medication or something, he said. And he feels like ants was crawling on him and stuff. So I got some more comments. Okay. Yeah. I'm right across the street. Back over here. Oh, okay. So. Well, let me know if I can do anything. Okay, I think he's. Okay. Here's some water, JP. You want some water? Okay. You want to try to sit up? You want to try to sit up, or you want to put it to your mouth, or what? I'll be out in a few minutes if you need anything else. Okay. That enough? You want more?
Yeah, that was the bit where he said, oh, I just want to see my kids. That's what I think this is about. I think this is something to do with his other marriage and not being able to see his kids. I don't know. We don't know when this video was taken, but yeah, definitely. I think that's cute. I just want to see my kids. He's trying to make people feel sorry for him. This is completely staged. So you can imagine his congregation after, oh, that terrible wife of his won't even let him see his kids. And look what it did to him. Look how it made him. You know, it was all her fault. You can just see it happening. I think that's exactly what it's about.
If Mark can't make it quick, you want me to get your mom over here?
Get mommy. Get mommy. Get my mom.
I want to get on medication, and this is what it I feel like I hit some eyes.
Seems like he can turn it off and on, then he just turns it off like a tap, doesn't he? He just turns it off like a tap. Okay, so there you go. That's Pastor John and what poor Micah had to contend with. No wonder she just, in the end, poor Micah, she just couldn't take any more. So I think it's relatively clear cut that she pulled the trigger, but what drove her to it is what is sort of, you know, to be determined, isn't it? Whether her parents end up, I hope they do end up suing him for unlawful death, or even if the police do, it's not clear yet, is it? So that's Micah. Now, I just want to move on, and just to let you know, I will re-release this part of the video as a separate video because people were, I haven't mentioned Anna in the title of this, unless I just changed the title. Anyway, I haven't decided yet. Sorry, I haven't mentioned Anna. So Anna Kovich. So we know we've been covering this story right from the beginning when she went missing in Madrid. Now her husband, David Knezovich, Serbian national, but an American citizen. Anna is Colombian but American citizen. But she was traveling in Madrid in Spain. She was starting a new life. How dare you? Anna, how dare you start a new life without David? This is the crime of these women, isn't it? Both of them. They've both ended up no longer with us. Probably Anna's body hasn't been found yet, but it seems likely that she's no longer with us. But the only crime that Micah and Anna committed was they didn't want to be with these twonks anymore. Now we've got twonk number 2, David Knezovich. Even though he was the unfaithful one, even though he didn't want to give Anna a divorce, or well, he didn't. I'm sure he didn't mind about her having a divorce, but he didn't want to give her the money from their business, which actually, and we haven't looked at their business. It's, to me, it. Let's see if I can get it up. Yeah, clear it is. Let's see if it's still up there. Let's see if the website's still up there. It's a very strange business. To me, it's one of those businesses where you can't actually work out what they do. You know, or I can anyway. Right, yeah, we've still got the Facebook page up. So let's have a look. I'm going to take that down. So Anna Knezovich and her husband David, they met. They've been married 14 years. They didn't have any children either. And they set up this business together, which seems was a very, very successful business. Anna had told her friends after they split up she didn't need to work anymore. And this is it, EOX Technology Solutions Inc. Well, they've only got 79 likes and 76 followers. The last post was in 2020, so quite a long time ago. Closed now. I would imagine it is closed because David Knežević is in prison and Anna is missing. So it's got all these sort of technology things on it. Disaster recovery plans. Let's have a look at the website. Oh, there he is. Oh, God, there he is. I hate this photo of him. He just looks like such a twonk. You know, it's like his resting twonk face on this photo. He just looks horrible with that cheesy smile. And I know you're not supposed to go by appearances, but I would just look at that. If I was looking for whatever they do, which I'm not quite sure, but just looking at his face would put me off contacting this business. Reliable IT support in Miami, Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach. Call us today. So have they got an about us? Let's see. Managed IT services. He's the CEO. Well, so Anna doesn't seem to appear on this website, but it was a joint business. So they do all these IT things. How do I go back to home? Hang on. Yeah, I don't think there'll be, so they do all these weird things that mean nothing to me. Managed IT services, IT consulting, cloud integration, virtualization, hosted VoIP, that's phone calls, isn't it? Network security, etc. But do you know what? Yeah, it just looks like, well, would you trust this man with your internet system? No, you wouldn't. Well, I certainly wouldn't. Anyway. Maybe I'm wrong, but he just looks like a twonk. And if it looks like a twonk, acts like a twonk, and talks like a twonk, it probably is a twonk. So there you go. That's David. Oh, I'm not sharing it, am I? Oh, I haven't done that for a while. Sorry, there he is. There he is. The resting twonk face. David Knežević. Yeah. Sometimes, as you know, quite often I forget to share. But I think you can all see it now. You can all see it now. So, yes, this was Anna Knežević's husband. So he and Anna split up and she went off to Madrid for a new life. She was having a great time. She was doing salsa dancing. She was meeting new friends. She was due to go to Barcelona for the weekend with a friend. She loved Madrid. She was looking for a long-term apartment. She decided she was going to stay there longer. Poor Anna, building a new life. But, twonks like David and Pastor John, they can't cope with that, can they? So he wasn't having that. Her husband wasn't having that. Anyway, she disappeared, didn't she? She completely disappeared. A Friday, it was a Friday. She was texting with her friends, making plans. And then that evening, nothing was heard from her ever again. Well, apart from these weird texts that again looked like they'd been sent by somebody else. And it turns out they were sent by someone else. They were sent by David, because David was in touch on a dating agency with another Colombian woman. And he asked the Colombian woman to translate a text for him into Spanish, said it was for, what did he say? It was a friend of his who was writing a play or something. And he needed one short section just translated into Colombian Spanish. Could she do that for him? So she translated it. But then later on, she told her mother about this man she'd met online. Her mother started doing investigations, like mums do. They're like, well, who's this person that's in my daughter's life? She Googled him online and found out that his wife was missing in Madrid. So she went to the police and, that helped towards David being caught. Of course, also he had been caught buying duct tape and black spray paint that he painted out the CCTV in her apartment with. And he then went in. We don't know how he got into her actual apartment, but he did come out with a suitcase, carrying a suitcase, because he had not covered that CCTV well enough. He'd sprayed it, but he could still see. So he was seen coming out with a suitcase. You know, so it's not criminal. He's not public enemy number one criminal. He's not criminal genius number one, this guy, even though he thought he was, because he left a lot of evidence behind. So let's have a look at this video. So he had his bond hearing. So the reason I'm talking about it again now is yesterday he had his hearing, court hearing, to see if he could be released on bail. Now, you know, I was thinking, God, surely they won't release him on bail. But, you know, he's got money, David. You know, he could surely raise the bail. He was hoping for bail. But anyway, this is what happened. So let's have a look. Oh, stop screen. Hang on. So he was, let's see what happened when he went in front of the judge.
The estranged husband of a South Florida woman who disappeared in Spain facing a judge today.
This as investigators continue to work to solve the case. Local Christina Vasquez has everything from Miami.
A federal judge decided David Knesevich's wealth, ties to Serbia, and frequent international travel did make him a flight risk, granting the government's request for pretrial detention, but added that it was a, quote, close call, in part because of the amount of circumstantial evidence underpinning the case.
Oh, sorry. Press the stop button.
Facing a charge of kidnapping, David is the estranged husband of Anna Maria, who left for Madrid the day after Christmas, fleeing, her friends and family have said, a contentious separation from David, who didn't want to split their assets equitably, they said.
So it sounds like she did go to Madrid because she was fleeing a contentious separation. Of course, his lawyer appeared on TV saying, oh, no, it was an amicable divorce. There was no problem, you know, no problem with the divorce. But there was a big problem because Anna wanted 50% of that weird business that they had, and he wanted only to give her 25%. So it was a contentious divorce. So she went there to get away from everything. You know, she had lots of plans with friends, and he followed her there. Oh, because, so what he did, he said he was in Serbia. He had his lawyer all over the TV, didn't he, saying he was in Serbia and, you know, he's not going to Spain because he has no contacts in Spain. Why would he go to Spain? Then it turns out he rented a car in Serbia, and when he took it back, it had enough miles on it that it had been to Spain and back, been to Madrid and back. Also, he'd had the windows tinted. Has any of you ever rented a car and then thought, oh, I think I'll tint the windows on this rental car? So he had the windows tinted. The other thing he did was the number plates were different. He bought new number plates. He said the other ones. So the other ones apparently had been reported stolen in Madrid on the same road that Anna lived on. I mean, how thick is he? I just think, what a thicko. You know, luckily he is thick because that means he's been caught. So he then, for some unknown reason that we're not quite sure of, decided to go back to Miami, and he was arrested the minute he got off the plane. So obviously, this has been an international operation. It's been the Serbian police, the Colombian police, the Spanish police, and the FBI all working together. It's been a brilliant operation. He's in custody. He's been charged so far only with kidnapping because they'll be looking for poor Anna's body. And so they won't charge him for murder until they know a bit more about where her body is. I think they'll find her, or they'll find some trace of her, because he's not clever enough to have done it cleverly enough. He's just not clever enough.
Said. Last seen alive entering her Madrid apartment February 2nd. The same day, prosecutors said a man who looked like David entered her apartment building after spray painting over.
So weird to see, because I was there, wasn't I, at the door. It's so weird to see it on the news and everything. Yeah.
surveillance cameras. That paint tracked down to a retailer in Spain. The FBI agent to the judge said David is placed in Madrid. The judge asking, how well can you see him in that video? FBI agent, 100%. You can see him buying paint and 2 rolls of American duct.
Yeah, so when he's gone to court for his bail hearing, of course, the judge has to make, establish that he shouldn't be given bail because he's a flight risk. And he also has to establish that they've got enough probable cause for him to be guilty of this act. So this is what they've said. So, the FBI agent has appeared in court and said David has been placed in Madrid. He was in the paint retailer video. It's 100% it was him. So that, because when he was seen on the CCTV painting out the camera, he had a motorbike helmet on. So you could only see his eyes, but he's got distinctive eyes, hasn't he? You could imagine that you'd be able to tell it was him even with a crash helmet on. He's got those twonky eyes, those twonky eyes that you wouldn't trust, you wouldn't trust for anything. So they recognise it, but even better than that, they've got CCTV of him in a paint retailer buying paint and 2 rolls of American duct tape. American duct tape, not Spanish duct tape. What's the difference? But anyway, so they definitely placed him in Madrid.
Additional new details in court today. The FBI agent said blood was found in the apartment. They're waiting on DNA.
This is new information. This is definitely new information about the blood found in the Madrid apartment. It's very sad. There was a rumor, and everybody went. The police obviously wanted to play that down. So I think the police have been trying to lull him into a false sense of security. They just wanted to get their hands on him. So it did come out that there was biological remains found in the apartment, which really means, blood or DNA. It didn't mean like a foot or a leg or whatever. And then that was poo-pooed really quickly. All the police came out. Anna Maria's friend, Sana, and her brother, they all say, no, this is a rumor. This is a rumor. It's not. So I think that the police have tried to sit on that because the Spanish police, they've conducted this whole investigation in secret, absolute secrecy. So how that's leaked out, I don't know, but it leaked out somehow, but then it was sat on immediately. And no, it's not true. But now they're saying it is true. But blood found in the Madrid apartment waiting on DNA analysis. Now, it surprises me that they're still waiting for DNA analysis, but maybe they probably didn't have David's DNA. So there may be some of his blood in there. I'm sure they'll have already know if it's Anna's blood, or will they? Because how would they compare if they didn't already have her DNA? They could do familial DNA, I suppose, on Anna, but with David, well, they'll have his DNA now because he's been arrested for kidnapping. I'm sure that they're allowed to take your DNA for that. So, yeah. So little nuggets coming out all the time about this case, aren't there?
DNA analysis from Spanish National Police. The couple, the agent testified, agreed to an open relationship to, quote, fix their marriage. She was dating men in Madrid. He had a girlfriend in Colombia, and that she felt.
So that is more new information, because I didn't know that Anna was dating men in Madrid. But obviously she was. So that's because it's the FBI that's saying that, not unless that's just what David said. Because, sometimes men say things like that, or women, I suppose.
Even suicidal over the struggles, had a girlfriend in Colombia, and that she felt threatened, even suicidal.
Hang on.
Girlfriend in Colombia.
Oh. So, yeah, the FBI agent said that the couple agreed to an open relationship to fix their marriage. Oh, well, open relationships always fix marriages, don't they? Oh, come on. How can an open relationship fix your marriage? Well, it won't fix my marriage, put it this way. I wouldn't stand for that. No way. You know, you're either with me or you're not. And if you don't want to be with me, go and, you know, sleep with as many people as you want, but not while you're with me, you won't. So she was dating men in Spain. He had a girlfriend in Colombia. Now, I don't know if this is definite or this has come from David's mouth. You know, Sana, her best friend, said she wasn't interested in meeting other men. She was just trying to live her life. And her brother said the same thing. And that's why, how they knew when that message came through the next morning, you know, saying that she'd met a man in the street and she was going off to spend a few weeks with him. That's how they knew that that could not be Anna, because Anna would have, if Anna would have been seeing other men, she would have told her friends. Anyway, he had a girlfriend in Colombia, which is that girl that he got to translate the message and whose mum did the detective work.
And that she felt threatened, even suicidal over this.
So she told her friends she felt threatened by him and was suicidal. You know, so she could have gone the same way as Micah. That's how, God, when you go halfway across the world to escape from someone. You know, when I was escaping my stalker, I went from Reading to London, then from London to Reading, then back to London again. Just imagine going halfway across the world, going from America to Spain, and him still catching up on you. You know, what can you do with these people? So he's worked all that out. He could drive to Madrid from Serbia because it's, you know, she will have thought she was safe in Madrid. She would never have thought in a million years that he would come there. It's very sad. Oh, and then the defense attorney, his attorney, of course, stated she suffered from mental health issues for years. Of course she has. Not him. Not him. He hasn't suffered from any mental health issues. No, 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 no. But she has. Of course she has. Yeah, this is the same old story over and over again. It is just awful. You see, you know, trying to blacken someone's name, like saying they've had mental health issues. Nobody's free of mental health issues. You name me one person you know who's not had a mental health issue at some point in their life. How dare they, you know, victim blame? How dare they?
Struggles with David. But his defense attorney argued that Anna Maria suffered from mental health issues for years and then told the judge, for all we know, she is doing this because she is psychotic, implying that perhaps she took off with the man she was dating in Spain. After the hearing, the family attorney with Anna Maria's brother by her side, not addressing some of that tough testimony, instead choosing to applaud the judge's decision.
On behalf of the family, we're very pleased with the judge.
Look, I just want to, I saw what Kelly said there. Her family didn't live in Colombia, Kelly. Her family lived in Miami. So that's why she went to Spain, to get away from Miami. But this brother here, he lived in Bolivia. Maybe she could have gone there, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know what Bolivia is like, but her actual mum and her other brother live in Miami. They don't live in Colombia anymore.
Judge's decision, we are very grateful to the court, and we are continuing to cooperate with law enforcement as they pursue justice for Anna Kovich and to make sure that Anna Maria Kovich's voice is heard. Thank you very much. I will not be taking any more questions.
And again, she is still missing in Madrid. He is facing this kidnapping charge. The judge telling his defense attorney that he does have the opportunity to appeal his decision today. Reporting live for you, I'm Christina Vasquez, Local 10 News.
Thank you. We turn now to a break in the case of a South Florida woman reported missing in Madrid.
Her estranged husband is now charged with kidnapping months after her disappearance. A Local 10 Sanella Sabovic is live now in Miami with chilling new details on this case. Sanella.
Calvin, this criminal complaint here is pretty shocking. It alleges that David Knežević was in Spain at the same time that his estranged wife vanished. He was arrested over the weekend and is facing a kidnapping charge. 36-year-old David Knezovich is now in federal custody, arrested by the FBI on Saturday for his alleged involvement in the kidnapping of a U.S. citizen in Madrid, Spain, on or about February 2nd. A criminal complaint alleges the victim was married to Knezovich. 40-year-old Anna Kovich is his estranged wife and has been missing for 3 months now, last seen alive on February 2nd. Anna left for Madrid last December following her breakup with David after 13 years of marriage. Loved ones say they last spoke to her around the date of her disappearance, then received strange messages from her claiming to have met someone. I met someone wonderful. He has a summer house about 2 hours from Madrid. We are going there now and I will spend a few days there. There is barely any signal though. I'll call you when I come back. Kisses. The complaint alleges that David was responsible for that message, that he met a Colombian woman on a dating app and asked her in a series of WhatsApp messages to translate that from English to Colombian Spanish. Anna was supposed to take a train to Barcelona on February 5th and never showed up, officially prompting an international missing persons case. Police in Spain began investigating. It's alleged that David rented a car from Serbia and drove to Spain to commit the crime. On the last day Anna was seen alive, the lenses of a couple security cameras at her apartment building in Madrid were spray painted. The cameras at the entrance were disabled entirely. FBI agents believe it was David that spray painted those cameras. Writing in the complaint, quote, notably the male who looks directly at the camera has physical characteristics that resemble those of Knezovich. At approximately 10:30, the male is captured leaving the elevator with what appears to be a suitcase. Following Anna's disappearance, David hired a lawyer. His attorney told Local 10 back in February that his client had been in contact with Spanish authorities while he was in Serbia. He declined to speak on David's behalf following today's federal court appearance. And we have made several attempts throughout the course of the day to get a hold of his attorney. We have not heard back from him just yet. David is scheduled to make another court appearance this Friday. And if you would like to read the entire complaint, we have it on our website on local10.com. Reporting live from Miami this evening, Sinella Sabovic, Local.
Okay, so there you go. So he got refused bail. So basically the upshot of it is he was declared that he was a flight risk. The judge said that he could, you know, due to the fact that he was financially solvent and his ties to Serbia and the fact that he was a regular traveller. So he was denied bail. And that was what because I sort of thought, oh, I've got to have this sort of sick feeling. But of course, they're not stupid, are they, the judges, at the end of the day? You look at someone like that, he's travelled from Serbia to Spain to murder his wife ostensibly or kidnap his wife. He's not likely to stay in Miami, is he? If you know, he's got enough other places to go. So he's been denied bail. So that will have made him angry. It's just, it is nice to see these twonks get their comeuppance, isn't it? You know, and think they're so clever, and then it turns out they're actually not. And then everybody knows they're not. So there you go. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to finish now. I'm just going to put Anna and Micah's pictures up again and a little bit of music to finish off with. I hope you all have a great morning, a great day, a great evening, whatever you're doing. Take care of yourselves and remember, as always, to live and love carefully, very carefully. And I'll see you as always very soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Thank you so much. Don't forget to put your fingerprint on the like button, please. And also, if you're not already subscribed, please think about subscribing, because it really helps me out and it's completely free. Completely free. So, thank you. Bye.